House Regulatory Reform Committee will please come to order. Clerk, please take the roll.
Chair Aragona.
Here.
Representatives Fairbairn.
Here.
Wozniak.
Here.
Wenzel.
Here.
Tisdall.
Here.
Hoadley.
Here.
Nyer.
Here.
Regas.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Linting.
Here.
Liberati.
Here.
Carter. Whitsett. Whitworth.
Here.
Neely. Devendorf. Grant. Carter.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 13 members present. You do have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Representative Fairbairn moves to adopt the minutes from last meeting. Without objection, so moved. And as of last meeting, we haven't met for a little while. Back in June, it was. We had some testimony from some bills that were offered by Representative Harris and Representative Steckloff regarding gift card fraud. It helped to curtail some of the fraud and abuse that happens when there are people that steal gift cards, you abuse them, steal the numbers, and we had testimony on that. I believe we've had enough time to consider those bills, so I'd like to vote on those at this time. There was some cleanup language on Representative Steckloff's bill, House Bill 4599, that just cleaned up some of the definitional changes, so we will have a substitute on that. So we will vote on those at this time. Representative Wozniak moves to report House Bill 4598 with recommendation. Clerk, please take the roll.
Chair Aragona.
Yes.
Representatives Fairbairn.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yeah.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Tisdall.
Yes.
Hoadley.
Yes.
Nyer.
Yes.
Regas.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Linting.
Yes.
Liberati.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Whitsett. Whitworth.
Yes.
Neely. Devendorf. Grant. Mr. Chair, you have 13 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion prevails.
Thank you, Clerk. Representative Liberati moves to adopt the substitute H1 that is before everybody to House Bill 4599. Clerk, please take the roll.
Chair Aragona.
Yes.
Representatives Fairbairn.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Tisdall.
Yes.
Hoadley.
Yes.
Nyer.
Yes.
Regas.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Linting.
Yes.
Liberati.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Whitsett. Whitworth.
Yes.
Neely. Devendorf. Grant. Mr. Chair, you have 13 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The substitute is adopted.
Thank you, Clerk. And I'd now like to report out that bill. Representative Tyrone Carter moves to report House Bill 4599 with recommendation as substituted H1. Clerk, please take the roll.
Chair Aragona.
Yes.
Representatives Fairbairn.
Yes.
Wozniak.
Yes.
Wenzel.
Yes.
Tisdall.
Yes.
Hoadley.
Yes.
Nyer.
Yes.
Regas.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Linting.
Yes.
Liberati.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Whitsett. Whitworth.
Yes.
Neely. Devendorf. Grant. Mr. Chair, you have 13 yeas, 0 nays, and 0 pass. The motion prevails.
Thank you, Clerk. I'd now like to consider a package of bills offered by Representative Linting and Colazar, allowing for Schoolcraft College to have a outside association have a liquor license on their facility. Rep. Colazar and Rep. Linting, please take it away.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Aragona and fellow members of the committee for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of House Bill 4595. This bipartisan bill package allows for a grocery store on campus-owned land at Schoolcraft College to purchase a liquor license on the open market, enabling and recognizing a unique partnership to build a full-service marketplace that serves students, faculty, and the surrounding community. Schoolcraft College offers leading educational program in brewing and distillation, and this legislation would open the door for students to gain practical, on-the-job knowledge of the industry by helping sell the products at the market. Schoolcraft College in Wayne County, which educates many students from my district, already has a culinary institute on campus And this legislation would allow for an innovative collaboration that will provide students with real-life work experience. This committee and legislature have already heard and supported similar legislation for other colleges previously, and I encourage them to continue to do so here to support economic and workforce development in Wayne County. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions, but first I'll pass it off to Rep. Colzar.
Thank you, and thank you to the chair and to the vice chairs for hearing these bills today. Also, thank you, Representative Linting, for your partnership. This is very important to Schoolcraft College, which is located in my district. As Representative Linting said, it is a culinary hub, not just for constituents in my district and Wayne County, but really for the entire Midwest. It's really something to be seen in terms of if you talk to chefs really around the country that got their starts at Schoolcraft College. So to have a liquor license at a facility located on Schoolcraft College really is just good for really the entire region. So I know you've heard similar legislation, very familiar with it, but much like Representative Linting, happy to answer any questions.
Representative Hoadley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you both for your testimony today. Real quick, is this just pertaining to products that they produce on site, or would they be able to bring in and have, you know, a distribution relationship with liquor control to sell other spirits?
Yes, it is for distribution, other
Broad.
spirits as well. Yes, and you'll also be hearing more from the business owner and from the president of the college as well. But yes, this is broad. It allows on-site sale, consumption at that store.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any further questions from the committee? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Next, we're going to bring up Leo Salvaggio from Nino Salvaggio's, which is the company in question, and then Glenn Cern from Schoolcraft College, president of Schoolcraft College.
Thank you. Thank you for hearing this excellent collaboration that we are involved with at Schoolcraft College. We are known for culinary. We have a huge reputation, like Matt Kolosar said, Representative Kolosar said. We have a national reputation. We have 78 master chefs in the country, and 1/10 of them reside at Schoolcraft College. The other piece that we do at Schoolcraft is we work and collaborate with businesses. We want our students, when they are experiencing their educational piece, we want them to be real-world experience. What better way to do it than at a marketplace that's going to be a $40 to $50 million operation that's going to provide all those kind of skills that they will not see in a classroom. These are real-world experiences. So I'm going to leave that now to Leo to talk a little bit about that collaboration.
Thank you, Glenn. Good morning. My name is Leo Salvaggio. I own Nino Salvaggio's and collaborate in the joint with my sister Andrea. We're a family business. We've been a family business since 1978. And to go back and touch on what Glenn had to say, CMCs, Culinary Master Chefs. I wasn't really aware how deep Schoolcraft College went with the Culinary Master Program. There's 78 master chefs inside the United States. We have 4 that reside on campus now to teach the students of tomorrow. We're very lucky to have that opportunity. 78 master chefs inside the United States. The DAC's head chef,
Yep.
what's his?
Chef Sean.
Chef Sean, he is a culinary master chef. So the students of tomorrow get to come to Schoolcraft College. They get to learn not only from culinary master chefs, but now we're bringing in this opportunity to where they are getting to walk across the walkway to Nino Salvaggio's, which we're building a state-of-the-art, from the ground up grocery store. That's kind of not fair to call it a grocery store, a grocery emporium where these students are getting to walk across and work in an everyday atmosphere. They're getting to learn marketing. They're getting to learn how their chef and how their preparation goes in and how they're getting to see how it comes out at the end. They're getting to enjoy an atmosphere that they would just go to class and they would not really understand how the real world works. I had an opportunity to take these students down to the Detroit Produce Terminal, and their faces were in shock with about 12 or 13 of them, and they just didn't understand really how their product came to their restaurant or to their facilities, and they were able to see a real live working experience. I had a bunch of chefs at our store in Troy, and we had 78 cakes we tasted from our cake guys in Chicago. And to have the students there to see how this all comes together and then take it back to the school and get this education, nobody or nowhere else in the United States does this. So to be in a collaboration with Schoolcraft College, and not only does it benefit the school, but it benefits Nino Savaggio's, because we are learning to grow, as in the field of grocery is going into a culinary prepared foods. People want to go in now and buy prepared foods. And we don't have the expertise that we should have from the chefs. And we don't have a lot of chefs. So being able to have these chefs in and be able to teach us on how to prolong the product, how to do better a job of it, packaging. We're also teaching these children, these students of, they're cooking, but what are you going to package this in? How long is it going to last? The students are able to come in and work in our accounting and work in accounting department with 6 stores in an office, and they're getting to see the real world of how this functions. And maybe with their chef experience, maybe they're working in the store and like, I don't like this. I want to go somewhere different direction. So the culinary and the growth between the business and the school, it's just something that has never been done, and we're super excited to learn from the school and to help the school and the students grow with us. So the collaboration is never been done before. I believe it's something that my father, who Nino Savaggio, started this business in 1978, would be in awe of where the business has gone today, and the opportunities are limitless with the students helping us and teaching us along with us teaching them. So I would, if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Yeah. Thank you both for being here. So Leo, let me kind of put you on the spot a little bit.
Absolutely.
So your Troy and your Clinton Township location in my district.
Correct.
We're very proud to have you there. You talked a little bit about those prepared foods. Those locations, let's separate it from Schoolcraft a little bit. How many square foot do you think you have there that's doing those prepared foods?
Well, the store, and Clinton Town store overall is 52,000 square foot, and we probably have about 10,000 square foot that's dedicated to culinary underneath there. That's with the deli and the meats area.
Okay. And what about Troy, do you think?
Troy is roughly 56,000 square foot, and we have roughly about the same.
About the same. And so in Clinton Township, I know you got there's a decent amount of offices there. How much, how many like accountant type workers you got there?
Well, we have 2 in-house clerks there who round up all the bills and all that kind of stuff. That gets transferred to the main office in Troy.
Okay.
And then from that main office in Troy is where we process all of the bills and all of the paperwork. So we would have the opportunity to have students in and out of there to watch how that all happens and maybe have fun working and doing some of that.
Yeah. So you're trying to take that kind of smaller family business there, bring it to Schoolcraft on a smaller scale.
Well, it's not really a smaller scale. We're building a 48,000 square foot store there.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that big.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's big. It's a 48,000 square foot store. Which we are doing new now is we're getting into the restaurant cafe aspect. We have all this food, we cook it, we might as well have you come in and sit down and enjoy yourself. And so we are going into the restaurant. We're going to have a beautiful cafe outside outside cafe, bar, slash, where the students can come over, sit, eat lunch, have some drinks, enjoy themselves. Plus, the campus has so many events on it that between the soccer dome, the Trinity Hospital's there, there's so many events that come in and out of, like Ford was there last year when we were there, and they had a accounting software conference, and there was 400 people in their
Vista Tech.
the Vista Tech Center. So when they came out, they had 5 or 6 buses out there. I'm like, these people have nowhere to go. Why can't they come in and sit down and enjoy themselves and eat and drink? And it's right across the street. So we're building I hate to say a fruit market, but we're building a gathering place. And being in Livonia right there on Haggerty, right across from the, what is it, that big, what's the racetrack that's downtown in Novi?
Oh, yeah,
or
Northville Downs, yeah.
I'm from Grosse Pointe, so that's an hour for me. I'm not real familiar with Novi per se, but it's such a huge area. I come from a small town there, and over there, it's just, there's so many people, there's so many areas. Plymouth, Novi, it's a huge, and the demographics are incredible there too, by the way. Allows us to sell all the interesting and different kinds of produce, vegetables, products. So we're super excited. And the school has a spirits program, which I think is really neat. A lot of schools don't have an interesting spirits program, and now it gives the students an opportunity to make different kind of spirits and products to where instead of just making it and I don't know, I'm not really familiar on what they did with it, but at least now they have an opportunity, the students have an opportunity to sell the product. Say, hey, I made that. And if it turns out to where it could become like an all-day IPA, you never know. So very excited to be in collaboration with Schoolcraft and the students because they bring so much life. They're young, they're interesting. And when they go downtown with me and they walk around the produce terminal, they're picking up produce and they're looking at, I've never seen this before. So it invigorates me more to their excitement. So very excited.
Great. Representative Wozniak has a question for you.
Sure.
Thank you. I really like this concept, really.
Thank you.
I'm a frequent shopper at Nino's. So.
Thank you.
Who is going to own the licenses? There's a little conflict here in what material we received.
It's going to be the Savaggio family. It's the Nino Savaggio.
Yeah, we would probably own the liquor license. I'm not an attorney. I don't exactly know how all that works, but I'm assuming I would own I have 5 or 6 other liquor licenses presently.
Okay, and there will be a long-term lease?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate what you guys do and ladies do up here.
All right. And just to read in a couple of cards of neutrality, I guess. Scott Ellis with the MLBA is neutral on both bills, and Dave Martin with the Michigan Liquor Control is neutral on both bills. Next, we are going to bring up Representative Schutte to speak on his bill. I think he's here. Yes, he is here. Okay. To speak on House Bill 4700 regarding liquor licenses with hotels. Go ahead, Representative Schutte.
Well, thank you, Chair Argona, Vice Chair Liberati, and members of the committee. It's my first opportunity to testify in front of the Regulatory Reform Committee. Appreciate the opportunity to talk about important legislation that is a straightforward update to our state liquor control code. Current outdated language in our law, it prohibits small boutique hotels in the city of Grand Rapids and Detroit from having a liquor license. And this legislation, it lowers the threshold for the number of rooms required to have a liquor license. That then allows for additional flexibility for smaller properties to obtain a liquor license. And I think our cities of Grand Rapids and Detroit right now, they're experiencing some exciting energy in tourism and economic development. And this legislation, it gets government out of the way of some of our innovative job creators, entrepreneurs that are driving growth in our state's largest cities. So would ask for your support, but also happy to answer any questions.
Representative Hoadley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Schutte. Hey, real quick, do you know what the original intent was of why the limitation of 25 rooms?
Yeah, I believe it had to do something with like brothel laws back in the day, but I don't think that's the current concern. So, yeah.
You won't be addressing that industry next, will you?
No. I'm focused on boutique hotels. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Good history lesson, though, Representative Hoadley. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Representative Hoadley, there's a pastor in the room, so just, be careful with that. So, yeah, okay. Representative Wozniak.
Thank you. There's some references in here to tax incremental financing. Does that really have any bearing on this?
Yeah, so this version of the legislation, it specifically tailors it to lowering the threshold in downtown development areas, which is where you're seeing a lot of these types of boutique hotels pop up. So that is why those specific areas mentioned. We are looking at a sub that would just do it across the board through the cities. So we're working through the final details of that language. But if that's a sub that we move forward with, that would be the reason.
Do you see any development that would be in rural cities rather than Detroit or Grand Rapids?
Yeah, and so I think right now your threshold in a more rural area is 20 hotels if you're a population that's less than 175,000. The only cities in our state that have those population. If you're in an area like Midland County, for example, they want to put a boutique hotel of 20 rooms. Midland's population is 40,000 people, right? So it would be below that 175,000 threshold. It would still qualify for this.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any further questions? Thank you, Rep. Judy. Next to testify via Zoom on House Bill 4700 is Jared Fleischer, the CEO of Bedrock. Jared, are you there? You are, Jared.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity, and I want to thank Representative Schutte for his leadership on this bill. Honestly, the representative, stated it very, very clearly. There really is extraordinary energy in our cities of Grand Rapids and downtown Detroit. We're seeing more and more the kind of energy and center of gravity and tourism shift from Chicago to Grand Rapids and to Detroit. That is something that I bet a lot of folks never thought they would see in their lifetime. The gentleman from Nino Savaggio's talked about how in that industry, the grocery industry, the industry has evolved. And, the new frontier is, prepared foods, cafes. Well, the hospitality industry is evolving as well. And, it's less about the giant, kind of big box hotels and more about boutique experience hotels in cities like Grand Rapids and Detroit. And, we've had a genuine interest in bringing that kind of investment to our state. And we found out that, our outdated, liquor laws prevent these kind of establishments, which, by the way, exist in all the leading cities, in the country. It really is a true regulatory reform issue because, when you have something that is preventing investment in your state, and the reason for it is a kind of a 1920s era, concern about brothels, it's, we're just grateful for your your interest and your work to update something that is outdated so that we can bring investment into this state.
Great, thanks, Jared. Any questions for Mr. Fleischer? Seeing none? Thanks, Jared. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank everybody on the committee. Thank you all.
All right. I need to read in a couple of cards regarding this bill before we move on. The first is from John McNamara from the Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association. Supports the bill. Dave Martin, Michigan Liquor Control Commission, neutral on the bill. And, oh, that's the same one, sorry. Didn't I have another one? Here we go, sorry. Scott Ellis, Michigan Licensed Beverage Association, also neutral on the bill. All right, and last up, we're gonna have a brief presentation from Genosco Housing. Genosco Housing is a manufactured housing facility down in Romulus. They also produce some high-density units for mainly in the city of Detroit, I believe. They're a relatively new operation. I had the opportunity to tour them, and it was pretty impressive what they were able to do and the basically assembly line of housing that they had. So was just hoping that you guys could give a brief presentation to the Regulatory Reform Committee just to see what you guys do and how quickly you guys put up housing. So take it away, sir.
Thank you. My name is Mike Stefanko. I am Vice President of Development and General Counsel with Genosco Development Company. Genosco Development Company itself is an organization that was founded in the state of Michigan in 2002. We've grown since then to as affordable housing developers to approximately 14 full-time employees at the development company level, and we now own, control, and develop 40 properties, over 5,000 units throughout the Midwest, with those predominantly located in the state of Michigan. We are strictly and exclusively an affordable housing developer. And when the term affordable housing, just for some background here, from our perspective, affordable housing is a housing unit in which an individual can live and pay no more than 30% of their income to live there. That includes the rent, utilities, and otherwise. Anybody that exceeds that is deemed to be, cost burden from a housing perspective. In the state of Michigan, there's a need for 75,000 units of affordable housing to address the crisis we currently have in the state. Genosco and other developers throughout the state have been working for years collaboratively with the state of Michigan, specifically through MISHDA, to address this. But the reality is, this is typically we've worked with the state in the lens of provide us additional funding, because there's just going to be a gap in the cost that it takes to build this housing relative to the capital that we can raise traditionally to build it. Historically and still in the future, it's an important part that the state continue to fund these endeavors. But what we've decided and tried to do is look at other mechanisms to not just ask for money, but reduce the amount of money that would be required from the state in hopes of eventually eliminating it entirely. The method that we have really explored and dove headfirst into is alternative construction methods, specifically in this instance, modular housing. In 2022, we closed on the financing of our modular manufacturing facility located in Romulus. That was constructed ground up and started operations in early 2024. We had our first transaction close, and it's now up on 7850 East Jefferson. The first building is there. It's a 75-unit affordable housing deal. The second building is actually located on the exact same site, currently under construction, will be set in October. So really the first deal cumulatively was 150 units on the riverfront in Detroit. We're continuing to work to have deals in our pipeline to construct. We're working again collaboratively with the state in financing those, but there's other, those that may not necessarily be within the purview of this committee, but there are other components within the state of Michigan that could help facilitate this and really I guess, take the best advantage of the advantage of the inherent advantages that modular construction has. One of those is time to development. The longer it takes a deal from inception to close, the more expensive that deal becomes. So our goal is to shorten that period, reduce the cost through that method, in addition to the cheaper construction method. But in order to achieve that, there are some needs that we have from the state of Michigan. One of those in particular, in addition to your typical design review process that occurs at the municipal level, modular construction in the state of Michigan and every state pretty much throughout the country has an additional review level at the state level. So every single module and box that we produce not only has to be reviewed and approved by the municipality, we also have a second track that we have to run through the state of Michigan under LARA and the Bureau of Construction Codes. We have been working collaboratively with LARA and the folks within that bureau. They've been fantastic to work with. A few weeks ago, they were out to our facility to tour it. And then, a week later, we actually came to their office with our design team to talk to them about the process, about their review, to make sure that that happens as efficiently as possible without, any comments to streamline that process. While they've been fantastic to work with and are very accommodating and knowledgeable, the reality is there are constraints on how much they can review. And with the changes in construction types and more types of just not housing, but school development and other commercial development going this path, they're seeing an increase in the number of deals that are submitted to them, but they also have a limited amount of resources to address those. Currently, we have approximately 900 units within our pipeline that are going to have to be reviewed and approved by the state, but yet just this week they received approximately 500 units to review for schools on its own. So they're balancing all of these different important needs from the state, while they also just need additional people and resources to address this. So one of the things that we're asking for is, potentially this committee to help work with us collaboratively with the Bureau to review their current processes. If there's rule changes that are needed, address those, but also increase the resources that are available to these teams so they can actually properly review everything in a timely manner and help us get this housing to the state as quickly as possible. That's not to say that the funding that our industry regularly asks for isn't important. It is, but again, as far as with the purview of this committee, that's an important piece for us. The factory itself, I'd like to actually invite everybody here to tour it. I know Representative Aragona did. I think you'll see it's an impressive operation. We employ 100 employees in Romulus itself from the surrounding area. It's fostered really the development of our trade workforce base in the state of Michigan. When you see it, it's just a natural training facility. We have a master plumber and electrician, and we have people in carpenters. We have people that work under those, train, learn those skills. Some of them stay. Some of them use it as an opportunity to move other places and other opportunities, which is fantastic. We're trying to work collaboratively with trade schools to foster that as well. But it's just another added benefit to this construction type, where we can actually construct housing in the state of Michigan to not only meet our needs, but the needs of throughout the Midwest, and just continue to grow the skilled labor force within the state of Michigan. Really, at this point, that is kind of just a summary of what we wanted to present. Again, we would ask for your help in addressing the regulatory needs that are unique to modular, as well as the needs of affordable housing through MISHDA and otherwise. But that's all that I have.
Great, thank you. A couple of quick questions for you. How quickly can you get a building built in your facility rather than it being stick built?
Okay, so it's a lead time question. So on average, we can produce 6 to 8 units per week in the factory. Okay, now what happens is, and why this is beneficial, is at the time we're producing those units, the site work is occurring at the site. By the time the site's ready to receive the units, it took us 10 calendar days, 7 working days, to set from ground up, from the foundation up, to set a 75-unit apartment complex. Now, there's still button-up work that needs to take place then, but that whole vertical construction takes place within a matter of a week.
And how long would it take a stick built to do that?
From that piece, I would guess about 6 to 7 months.
And you did it in a week?
We set it within a week. Now, you're having the foundation that was there, but yes, the vertical, if timing lines up with start of construction and start of the manufacture of the units, yes, we can do it in a week.
And are you guys more expensive, less expensive, about the same?
We are less expensive, and there is for a variety of reasons. One is the timing component. Just the interest carry on a construction deal that size is substantial. That piece alone and reducing that by approximately 6 to 7 months is a huge savings for the deal. But just in addition to that, just from a pure supply of the I mean, it's apples and oranges from the materials that are there at the site and everything else. It is less expensive overall. Now, the actual amount of that depends largely on the design, which is why we're so focused on that component. You can design away the efficiencies of modular very easily, but if your design team gets approvals that are actually tailored to this type of construction and the needs of the affordable units, it will be much more efficient.
And is there any constraints on you guys? I mean, can you only build 6x6 apartments or only use 4x4s instead of 6x6s? Or what are the constraints that are on you that aren't on stick builds?
The constraint, there are none. I mean, as long as we have the design that works, they could potentially do things that aren't intended for modular, different types of configurations. But the reality is we can build single-family homes. We can build up to 4-bedroom units that we've already had approved. So there really aren't any. The one unique piece that we have is we have an additional layer of design review.
Gotcha. Thank you. Representative Tisdall.
Thank you, Chair. The terms manufactured and modular have been used in maybe the introduction and in your discussion. Can you again explain the difference between manufactured and modular homes? And in addition to the redundancy of having to have your designs approved individually by the municipalities and the state, what are the other significant barriers on citing your products throughout the state?
Yeah. So I guess the first part of your question, the distinction between manufactured and modular, I think they're a large part one and the same. There are different types of modular construction. Some of it is panelized. Some of them are, I'm sure some of you may have seen these where you have a Walgreens go up and they have the separate walls come in and set. Ours is unique in the fact that it's called 3D volumetric. We are building almost an entire apartment unit. You can walk in the unit at the end of the line and everything is complete. There's appliances in the unit. The flooring is there. Everything except for the interior hallways is finished out completely as much as we can at the factory. So it's not your typical, I think there's a lot of thoughts about what modular was in the past. This is a technology that's come a long way and has been kind of more fine-tuned on the West Coast, specifically out in Idaho. But it's used frequently there, and it's something that's relatively new to the Midwest. We are the only modular manufacturing facility in the state of Michigan dedicated exclusively to affordable housing. And we're the only one that does this construction type in the state of Michigan in general. There are other types that are out there that might be dedicated exclusively to single family, but that's it. As far as the barriers that we would have, a lot of it's just educational. There is a preconceived notion about this construction type and the quality. But what's happened since the time that a lot of us are used to is that quality has actually gone up and exceeded traditional construction. We have thicker envelopes of the building in between walls, which reduces utility costs and reduces noise. There's an extra layer of the floors, which does the same, which are end benefits to the residents that live there. I think we've all been in apartments where you're hearing somebody upstairs or through the walls. This is the construction type significantly reduces that, in addition to the added benefit of reduction in utility costs. So when you're asking about the barriers, my natural response to that is there are effectively should be none, but a lot of it is just educational so the municipalities understand what we're truly building, where the folks like you on this committee understand what's actually being produced. It's important to see, and again, I would defer to Representative Aragona is actually walking that facility, seeing what we're building, the amount of people that are on that line. It's really quite impressive.
Are there zoning restrictions or code requirements that are unnecessarily obstructive?
Yes and no. I mean, we can accommodate whatever code requirements there are. So I say no in that lens, and that's what we're currently doing. We know what those restrictions are. Our design team is designing to them. So we're somewhat agnostic on that point. I'm sure folks could say, listen, this is unnecessary for this purpose. We've not been focused on that. We know what the rules are, and we're designing within those parameters. So we're okay with the existing code structure from that perspective. There are things that potentially are out there from a transportation perspective that are regulatory issues, which I'd like to get some other folks from our organization to speak on those a little bit more. But the reality is, the one few needs aren't outside of the funding and the design component. They're more. A lot of them are market driven. We have specific trades that we need access to that aren't prevalent here in the state of Michigan. As this grows, as this construction type grows, we're going to start having those. One of those being the set crew, the team that set that within 10 days. We had to bring them in from Colorado. As this construction type grows, we are going to have our own Michigan-sourced set crews that are here that have access to the cranes more readily, which will again reduce that cost rather than shipping a crane in from across the country. But those are things that we're going to grow inherently. We just need help with the state in eliminating some of those other barriers so we can do this in a timely manner, in a more efficient manner, and just keep the supply going.
Well, if you or the chair wants to put together a group, I'd welcome the opportunity to come down and look at your facility. So thank you.
Absolutely. We'll reach out to your staff and set a date. We're happy to have you.
Representative Regas.
Good morning. Thank you for your presentation.
Thanks.
How are so we hear about the numbers of housing that we need, that is needed in Michigan. How exactly is that number calculated?
So the state of Michigan through MISHDA did a statewide housing plan. In that, they had a study that was done to assess that number. And that number includes not just pure homelessness, but really people living in substandard housing. I think it's a combination of those two. The exact mechanics on how they came up with that number, I'm not familiar with, but it does lump those two together, in addition to people that are just cost burden overall.
Yeah, that's what I had heard recently, that it includes individuals that are looking to, or that are about to graduate college. It includes people that are living in homes that need major repairs. So I struggle with that number a little bit, because I don't feel that any agency should be trying to make these decisions for anyone who, if they feel their home is unlivable or needs repairs, that doesn't automatically mean that they need new housing.
Yeah.
So I do struggle with that number, and I do feel that number is a little high. But that's not, that doesn't have anything to do with you or your organization, because I do appreciate what you're doing and trying to meet that demand. I just believe that demand number is elevated.
That very well may be the case. The reality is, I think we all know that one of the major issues is the fact of just the rent cost is as high as it is.
Sure.
The only natural way to address that is just to increase the supply of the housing.
I do agree with that completely.
And I think that's where our main focus has been. And
Yes.
How we do it, there's a lot of different ways, but we're just focused on increasing the supply overall. So.
We absolutely need to increase the supply. And I have, in my area, in my district, to rent a 2-bedroom apartment is higher than my mortgage payment.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. Thank you.
Thanks.
Representative Wozniak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Everything you build is multi-tenant?
So to date it is, but we do have the ability to do single family and low density.
Okay, and everything is rental?
Everything that we own and operate is rental. We we have the ability to sell to third parties. If they want to sell it for owner occupied, we have no objection to that whatsoever. But we have two arms. One is the factory, one is the development company. On the development company side, we basically we're exclusively into rental, yes.
And is your product exclusive to Michigan?
It is not. To date, it's the only state that we've operated in, and if you look at our pipeline of deals in our queue, they're all exclusively Michigan. We do intend to go outside of the state at some point, but as of right now, the need and the amount of deals that we've had sourced in the state of Michigan, we haven't needed to.
Yeah. You mentioned transportation. Are there some impediments that you have in transportation?
Well, just overall, that's just trucking and shipping. I mean, these modules are, they're designed to the maximum constraints that we can permit on the road with certain license types. We're subject to frost laws and other types of items just related solely to storage. That's an area that I would need to bring some other folks in from our group to actually discuss the nuance of what we would need changed. And I'm not prepared to really discuss it in any detail today. But there are things in that space that we will need. Just before we even decide to cross the state line, we need that piece set up and running, which we intend to take on ourselves in the long run. Right now we're subbing that out, but there are going to be needs that we have from that perspective.
You mentioned the local and the state inspections that are necessary. Do you find there's not necessarily redundancy, but the amount of time it takes to get those things done?
Yes, that is the biggest issue. Like, for example, in the city of Detroit, where we're doing our next development, and we're working with their team well, we had to complete the entire state process of the approval before we could even submit to the city. So it's not simply that we have these two processes that we have to run through, and you can't run through them concurrently. So it adds on to this line of, all right, you're through the state, now you can just begin the city approval. Whereas in a traditional sense, by the time we submit to the state, if it were a non-modular deal, you're submitting just to the city from that standpoint and moving forward.
And you mentioned, too, that you're compatible with all the codes that are out there. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that sticks out in the codes that you would like to see changed?
Well, considering that we designed the existing code, we would have to change then if you changed it back. So I'm not necessarily advocating for that. We're also design compliant with MSHDA's design standards, which add to the code as well. So they have very specific requirements that we've designed for tenant usage, for storage, for unit space, and otherwise. So there's nothing in particular from our perspective that I would push for at this time. Right. Again, we've always viewed us as agnostic as to that point. Other people are meeting it. Our construction type can do the same.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And then real quick, you have two companies?
We actually have three within our ecosystem. We have the development company, which is the longest standing group.
Since when?
2002. That organization is based out of Novi. We have our construction arm, Janasco Construction, which does general GC work, a lot of our rehabilitations. It's going to be doing our next deal off the line in Detroit. And then we have Janasco Modular.
How long has Janasco Modular been around?
Janasco Modular started, the financing closed in 2022. Operations began in late 2023.
Okay, so you guys are relatively new.
Yes, we are.
But impressive. That's good. All right. Last question as of right now, Representative Nyer.
Thank you. You hinting around with it. Both Representative Wozniak and Tisdale mentioned it there, but I guess it'd be helpful for us if at some point, if you're not ready today, there to nail down some of these dueling approval processes there, so that way we can help streamline it, and also perhaps some of the sticking points that you're finding when you're going to municipalities in trying to get these developments through. Is there a common theme that you run into that we need to work through, or that we can somehow smooth out that process and make these projects happen faster?
Yeah, I think one of the largest ones, as far as at the state level in that piece, that's a process where I would like to involve that regulatory agency. They know it best. They know what their constraints are from those rules and how it applies to this. So that's, I think, a collaborative effort with that group. As it relates to other municipalities, it's educational. We want to get in front of everybody to show them what this is, because I think in part there is a preconception of what we're doing, and it's farthest thing from what some people view. They've seen some of the things from back in the 90s that were constructed, and this is completely different. So to your point, I think the largest thing is just getting people to understand what we're actually trying to achieve and actually seeing it with their own eyes, because it does change your entire perception of what we're discussing today, I think, which is why we invite all of you to come to the factory. It really is, it's transformative, I think, for the industry, and it's something that we can actually build in the state of Michigan and actually expand upon.
Other last question, Representative Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think my colleagues have asked most of the questions that I was going to ask, but one thing I want to put on your radar, and I won't take up too much time, I think we can talk about it out of committee, but are you looking at any way to address the needs of seniors? Because one thing that I have learned, or most recently in my district at attending one of the chamber meetings with our realtors, is that a lot of our seniors are looking to downsize, but putting their home on the market, they're sitting not selling because the average family that's looking for a starter home is not able to afford their home, but they're stuck in that home and they're looking to downsize so that they have first floor laundry, that they're not climbing up steps and things that our seniors typically do at that age in their life when they look to downsize. Is there anything that you're looking at or working on? And if not, would you be willing to put that on your radar for the downriver communities, especially? I do represent downriver, so just outside of Romulus.
Yeah, 100%. So all of any module that we have almost has two iterations of it. It's just traditional construction and ADA compliant. So we actually have that naturally built into our design process. We do own and operate a number of senior apartment complexes and apartment communities throughout the state, so it's not something that is new to us. From a new construction perspective and the deals that we're working on, there's not, of the deals that we have, the next few in our queue, there's not one that's exclusively senior, but there is one in particular in the city of Detroit, which is an existing community that's going to be completely replaced, that has a large senior footprint. And we've discussed with the current residents there about their needs and their wants, exactly to your point of not having to go upstairs. And we've been able to design that in a way that addresses their needs.
Beautiful, thank you.
Any further questions? All right. Representative Liberati moves to excuse absent members. Without objection, so ordered. There be no further business before the committee. We stand adjourned.